ZAPAN Part 1. Similar in both the movie as well as the manga, Alita enters Kansas Bar with the intentions of recruiting additional hunter warriors to take on Makaku. In the manga, she arrives with Daisuke Ito, where in the movie it is with Hugo that she enters. In the manga, Hugo doesn't enter the story till much later. In the manga, Ito asks all the hunter warriors to help Alita. He is under the impression that they will rally behind him due to his assistance rendered to them as a cyborg mechanic, such as ZAPAN's new arm, as well as his generous nature to let others repay him for cybernetic services at their leisure. However, this is not the case. Daisuke and Alita both discover the true nature of hunter warriors. Everyone shies away or highlights their aversion from fighting such a dangerous foe as Makaku. Ito turns to ZAPAN as being a cyborg he has helped, as well as a renowned hunter warrior, for pleading for assistance. This is the first introduction to ZAPAN's character. His first reaction to Ito is to turn down any help by saying it's none of his business. ZAPAN explains that hunter warriors act as lone wolves who must bring down their own prey by themselves. Daisuke continues asking for help from ZAPAN and other hunter warriors by pleading with their morality and humanity, until ZAPAN has had enough. Believing that Daisuke has disrespected him, ZAPAN explains to him firmly that being a hunter warrior to them is not a hobby like it is to Daisuke. The average hunter warrior does this dangerous job to survive to make it to another day. If other hunter warriors had more technical skills or abilities, they would choose another profession. Avoiding unnecessary risks, bringing down bounties carefully, and getting paid for it is the best a hunter warrior's life can hope for. To be a pro hunter warrior is not to be a hero to others, but a means of survival. Here is when Alita imposes herself into the scene by kicking the drink directly out of ZAPAN's hand and into his face. ZAPAN reacts with surprise, but also shows self-control. Alita stands on the table glaring at ZAPAN, then denigrates his status as a pro, followed by saying that ZAPAN and the other hunter warriors are scared of Makaku. Alita belittles all of the hunter warriors in the room for not going out of their way to help her. At this point, ZAPAN's retributive nature takes over. He threatens to teach Alita a lesson by separating her cybernetic head from its body to let it roll around in the street until she learns some manners. Instead of apologizing for her rude behavior, Alita uses her berserker body to start a bar fight. Initially, the other hunter warriors go easy on Alita, not aware that Daisuke Ito had given her the most powerful cyborg body in the Scrapyard. But soon the bar fight turns into an all-out brawl. Alita focuses on ZAPAN during the fight by manipulating his arms and limbs to injure other hunter warriors, and this panics him. After Alita takes out all the hunter warriors with her overpowered berserker body, she kicks ZAPAN and the other hunter warriors out of the bar into the street, where Makaku is waiting for them to finish them off. ZAPAN lost most of his friends that day and barely escaped. Months pass by before ZAPAN re-emerges on the scene. Maintaining a low profile because his reputation and friends are all gone, he rebuilds his life by hunting low-priority bounties and keeping an eye on the goings-on of the Scrapyard. At this time, Alita begun making a name for herself as a hunter warrior, and had also met a like-minded boy named Hugo. ZAPAN discovers this and begins to formulate methods of retaliation against Alita. Using his humiliation and loss of status by Alita as motivation, ZAPAN bides his time until his true vindictiveness can be brought to execution against Alita. While searching for possible opportunities of bounties, as well as spying on Alita, ZAPAN sees Hugo walking with Vector, who is well regarded in the Scrapyard as a shrewd businessman. ZAPAN also knows that Vector deals in illegal cybernetic body parts. Seeing Hugo and Vector together leads ZAPAN to believe Hugo is part of the criminal gang responsible for theft of spinal columns, and decides to investigate. If Hugo is breaking the law, then the bounty reward will be worth the effort. However, ZAPAN also believes that capturing Hugo as a criminal will also be his way of getting revenge on Alita. It takes ZAPAN some time, but eventually finds the gang responsible for stealing spines out of the cyborgs. Pretending to be a customer to the criminals, he uncovers their methods of subduing and stealing the spines to take to Vector. Catching them in the act, ZAPAN decides to eliminate them for the reward, believing Alita will be emotionally hurt by the loss of Hugo. ZAPAN tries to remove Hugo's mask to show his identity when one of the two other spinal column thieves, named Toji, attempts to rescue their friend by attacking ZAPAN from behind. ZAPAN's lightning reflexes, as well as his cybernetic body, quickly dispatch Toji. The second thief attempts to run away, but ZAPAN throws his blade with strength and accuracy, which connects with the target. The brief reprieve Hugo acquired while ZAPAN had focused on Toji and Van gave him the opportunity to light and throw a combustive material at ZAPAN, lighting him on fire. The homemade flammable grenade gave Hugo the time to run away. ZAPAN decided not to pursue Hugo immediately because a bounty would soon be placed on him by Factory 33 Law. Believing the bounty on Hugo would injure Alita more than outright killing him, ZAPAN works to make Alita herself the very hunter-warrior who must deliver the killing blow to Hugo and cement his retaliation against her. A short time later, ZAPAN discovers Alita and Daisuke Ito and breaks the news to them. Alita is upset and frantically runs off to search for Hugo before other hunter-warriors can find him. She hopes to learn the truth from him before making her decision to run away with Hugo as criminals, to try to help him reach Taifairs, or to end his life due to the circumstances of his lies and crime. ZAPAN turns to Daisuke Ito and asks in a provoking way whether Alita will return with Hugo's head or try to run away with him to Taifairs. Daisuke Ito is disgusted with the situation, deeming Alita as a little girl, but ZAPAN is looking at Daisuke as an accomplice to helping Alita and Hugo escaping together. ZAPAN asks Daisuke to participate in this scheme, possibly because Daisuke is a hunter-warrior as well, and should look at this job as work, but also as a means of keeping Daisuke close by so he cannot help Alita. ZAPAN puts his hand on Daisuke's shoulder to try to convince him, but Daisuke uses this opportunity to attack ZAPAN, first by a sneak attack with the back end of his rocket-powered sledgehammer, but then Daisuke full-on attacks ZAPAN with the weapon, intending to kill. ZAPAN recovers just in time to evade the massive weapon's destructive capabilities, and simultaneously shows off why he is considered a legendary hunter-warrior by counter-attacking in mid-air. Knocking out Daisuke, who attacked him first, ZAPAN proceeds with his plan to force Alita to be a fugitive with Hugo, who is a legitimate criminal, or doing her duty as a hunter-warrior by killing the person she loves. ZAPAN predicts accurately that Alita will return with Hugo to Daisuke Ito's shop and awaits for her to arrive. Just as he predicts, Alita is spotted by the Netman security forces, as well as additional hunter-warriors. He sets up Alita to make a choice between killing Hugo or becoming a fugitive with him. Alita is completely surrounded, and Daisuke Ito is used as a hostage to prevent her from attempting to fight her way out of the situation to escape. ZAPAN has Alita in a precarious position, just as his vindictive plans were intended. However, Alita surprises everyone by revealing the head of Hugo from a cloth wrapping she had been carrying close to her chest. Showing to everyone that the deed had been done and Hugo was dead, all the hunter-warriors as well as the factory Netman declared the entire ordeal to be a waste of time. Alita was given credit for the kill on the spot, despite the protest of ZAPAN. ZAPAN was completely dismayed that his plan to exact revenge on Alita did not produce the results he wanted, as well as disbelieving that Alita was capable of such an action. ZAPAN confronted Alita face to face to criticize her humanity, as well as her cold-hearted disposition. Dismayed by the lack of response or emotion from Alita, ZAPAN tries to provoke her by throwing away the body of Hugo, which Alita had been carrying. Next, he decided to attack the head of Hugo to evoke a response from Alita. Alita moved swiftly out of the way to protect the severed head of Hugo, but ZAPAN noticed that Alita had connected her own circulatory system to Hugo as a means of preserving the oxygen flow and life to his brain. ZAPAN felt relieved that he had discovered all this, because Alita had still broken factory law to help Hugo escape as a fugitive. ZAPAN's plan for revenge against Alita was actually a success by forcing Alita to choose between Hugo and the life of a hunter-warrior. Before he was able to alert the factory Netman that Alita was harboring a legitimate criminal onto her life support system, the factory Netman began shouting to ZAPAN that he was in progress of stealing a rightfully claimed bounty. At the same time, Alita used this opportunity to attack ZAPAN and broke his entire cybernetic face to the point of exposing his brain and frontal lobe. Without the ability to speak or see, he could not report Alita's crime of keeping alive a legitimate criminal, as well as see the nearby ledge. ZAPAN fell off the ledge and was deemed deceased. Alita was able to revive Hugo shortly after the incident with Daisuke Ito. ZAPAN, however, was mentally shattered. The world he had known was law and order. A criminal such as Hugo was allowed to escape, and the person who had originally showed up in his bar to instigate a fight and lose his reputation was able to not only destroy his body but destroy his entire life. ZAPAN existed within a system and did not break the laws. His vindictive plan against Alita was not illegal. He was pursuing a serious criminal who had been stealing the spinal columns out of many victims. Keeping to the law and proving his skill over the years was ZAPAN's way of getting by in the scrapyard. To most everyone, he was someone to respect and aspire to. While his disposition might be considered rough around the edges, he did not start fights and did not kill unless there was a bounty placed. ZAPAN was the victim to Alita, who illegally weaponized the system of factory law against him, and succeeded to attack ZAPAN upon his discovery that she was breaking the law. It is my interpretation that ZAPAN is by far the victim of Alita. His character was destroyed by her along the way. The story of ZAPAN is only part 1. If there is a large demand, I would love to make a part 2, continuing the story arc of where ZAPAN picks up his life from. Additionally, if there is an interest, I can make a comparison between the ZAPAN in the movies as well as the manga. It's considered a tragic tale, but many lessons are learned by Alita in the progress of ZAPAN's life. I notice many viewers don't hit the subscribe button. This is my first time asking, but it would really help my channel if I got a few more of you to subscribe. I will only post Alita content, and it will usually only pertain to the lore of the Alita universe. Thank you for watching and stay strong, Hunter Warriors.